Now, for more on the latest of the Federal Reserve's moves and all of today's market action, we're joined now by NYU economics professor Lawrence White. Lawrence White served on President Jimmy Carter's Council of Economic Advisors. He's also a former member of the Federal Home Loan Bank Board. Larry White, good to have you with us on Bloomberg.
Good to be here.
You heard the news coming out of the Federal Reserve that what they're going to do really is they're going to take some of the money that they had invested in mortgage-backed securities, and now they're going to take that money and they're merely going to roll it over and buy U.S. Treasuries. Is that the gist of what they're saying their plan is?
Well, I think the real gist is it's steady as you go. They are not tightening. They're not appreciably loosening. They're watchful waiting. They're really concerned. We're in an extraordinary position. The Great Recession, the most serious economic downturn in at least 30 years, arguably since the Great Depression of the 1930s. And there's been a lot of stimulus over the last year and a half or so, and yet we're stuck at 9.5% unemployment. On the one hand, the Fed has some inflation hawks who keep on saying, gotta worry, inflation may be right around the corner. At the same time, previous hawks are turning into doves. They're worried about deflation. And so the Fed is really on a tightrope. They're really worried. They don't want to fall in one direction. They want to fall in the other direction. And so they're trying to just keep steady as you go.
All right, but as an economist, don't you get to sort of have that balancing act and say, all right, on the one hand, yes, we're looking for some kind of stimulus, but on the other, we've got to be very patient. Don't you think they've got to come down on one side or the other eventually?
Well, I mean, eventually the economy heals, and then they do have to reassume.
You're confident that the economy will heal?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the trouble is...
There are no structural impediments. There's nothing that is going to be forever in the economy in terms of this unemployment rate.
Except death and taxes and nothing else.
All right. Well, at least economists can be sure about that.
There you go. But no, I mean, we're in a serious recession, but the fiscal effect, the stimulus, the monetary will eventually have the beneficial effects that we expect. The trouble is we don't know how long eventually is going to be.
Are we expecting too much from the Federal Reserve as well as other policy makers? I mean, they can't just wave a wand and make the recession go away as if it never happened.
Of course not. And there probably is some excessive expectations. At the same time, I mean, it is possible if the Fed wanted to ease even more. I mean, before he became chairman of the Fed, Mr. Bernanke got the nickname from some Wall Street and bond traders as Helicopter Ben. Why did he get that nickname? Because he, at one point, and this is a standard graduate economics metaphor, that if the Fed wanted to expand the money supply, it could just hire a bunch of helicopters and have the money just tossed out to the population below out of helicopters. Well, that's really just a metaphor, but it does indicate that the Fed still has lots of ability to expand the money supply if it really wanted to.
All right. Now, as someone who's an economics professor at New York University, what kind of grade would you give Ben Bernanke for his performance right now?
Somewhere between, a B+ and an A-, but some people might think
you're a difficult grader.
Well, no, I'm a pussycat.
You are.
But I mean, he faces a really tough time. This really is unprecedented.
Because they've got the dual mandate, right? They're talking about price stability on the one hand, plus the jobs picture on the other.
Well, exactly right. And he's a student of the 1930s. He wrote his PhD dissertation about the experience of the 30s when the price level dropped 25%. And so he's conscious, we don't want to do that again.
Do you think we get deflation?
My guess is not, because we've got a lot of services sectors. I'm employed by one of them, where prices only go up. The medical sector accounting for 10%.
And in the jobs report, it was healthcare as well as some of those service sectors and manufacturing that showed increased government workers as well.
I don't see general deflation being all that big a problem.
All right. I want to thank you very much, New York University economics professor Larry White. Always insightful. Thank you for helping us understand those tea leaves at the Federal Reserve.
Thank you, Pimm.